In my last video, I said that in order to get the swing feel into your playing, you're going to need two things. One, an understanding of swing as an ecosystem, and two, a method for understanding and reproducing any swing feel. Well, if you've seen that video, you've got step one down. So what's step two? Hi, my name is Kieran and I'm a jazz guitarist, music producer and engineer from Australia. And in this video, I'm going to deliver on my promise and share with you a regime I created that finally helped me to swing. I call it the pocket method. Let's get swinging. So what are you going to need? Well, you'll need your instrument, the music that you'd like to study. I'll discuss format options shortly, just hold tight. At least half an hour, and lastly, a metronome that can either go down to at least 20 BPM or be programmable. You'll understand why in a minute. As far as metronomes go, I personally use Polynome because it's totally programmable and fully customizable. And I'm not sponsored, by the way. I just use this app like multiple times a week for my own practice and with my students. I have it on my phone and my computer, like all my devices. It's just awesome. Check it out if you can. So the pocket method has two main components: analysis followed by generation. In analysis, our goal is to understand and then internalize the rhythmic feel of the music that we've chosen. For step one, we'll need a way to repeatedly listen to the audio that we want to analyze. And there's a couple of ways to go about it. The simplest way is just to play the audio in whatever format that you have available, be it analog or digital, and just manually replay it a lot. Remember that the old masters would wear out the grooves of LPs and 45s from repeated playings, and then they would use creative methods to slow down and transcribe recordings. I myself used to just leave my cursor on the exact spot that I needed on my on-screen playback and just click over and over and over. Although those methods are great, I personally think we can do so much better. The best way would be to create a loop. These days, if we have access to the digital file of the music, it's a pretty simple process. If you're open to using a digital audio workstation, any modern DAW can easily allow you to cut and loop audio. But personally, I would recommend Jonas Wagner's free and amazing Time Stretch player on the web. It's lightweight, simple, and has so many great features, like changing the pitch and speed, as the name suggests. You can also export your loop for further practice later. Okay, cool. So now you can make a loop. How long should it be exactly? Well, it depends. The shorter the section you listen to, the more granular you can be. However, you can also end up getting yourself musically oversatiated. Hearing too short of a section for too long can reduce it to just a mush. There's no right answer for length, but I would offer a rough guide of no less than 5 and no longer than 30 seconds for your loop. Once you have your loop, step 2 is to clap along with the pulse or beat and spend a few minutes really getting into it. You can clap all the beats in the bar, just specific ones like beats 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, or even just the downbeat, beat 1 for example. What is important is that you physically move your body and really groove with the music. You've got to get it in your body after all. A mental image that I used to imagine is that I was in the recording session or on stage adding claps to the recording, really trying to be part of the ensemble. Step 3. Once you feel settled in, shift your attention to the offbeats or upbeats. I'm going to use both interchangeably. Be that an 8th, 16th, or whatever. Just notice them. Don't try to clap or sound them out yet. Where the offbeats are placed in relation to the pulse is a big part of unlocking the feel that you're after. Step 4. Keep your awareness on the offbeats and scan back to your body. Is it still moving with the pulse? If not, go back to step 3, recenter yourself, Then try shifting your awareness back to the offbeats. Once you have your awareness on the offbeats and your body is still grooving with the pulse, you can try clapping the offbeats, with the aim being that your body does not lose its grounding in the pulse. Step 6. So that it's not too overwhelming, try clapping every other upbeat, every other bar. For example, just the 1 and 3, or the of each beat for one bar, then rest and return to the pulse. Step 7. Once you've done this for a few minutes, take a break for a second. Have some silence and no movement. Then start the loop or music up again and try to return to the same feeling that you just had. Step 8. Repeat steps 3 to 7, but with your instrument. Try and keep it simple. Play or sing one repeated note or pluck or strike a single element only. You're trying to transfer the clapping motion into your instrument's main embodied one. Step 9. Once you have it, then feel free to start experimenting and playing some varied material, all the while trying to keep the same feeling you've isolated within your body. If the feel slips, that's okay. You can always return to the simple beat or offbeat steps, or even return further to clapping if you need. And no, it does not have to sound good or in key, you just have to play along with it. Final step, step 10, is to record yourself. Always record the outcome of your practice sessions for diagnostic reasons. Watching and listening back is invaluable insight because we shift our perspective to that of a listener, which we just can't do whilst we're practicing. And that's the analysis step. The analysis step is the first to mastering a chosen feel. However, although this method is, I feel, much better than just trying to play along with the recording, a problem remains. The recording you've been using as a reference during the analysis stage basically becomes a crutch. Sure, you can groove and get that feeling when the music is playing, but what about when it's time for us to play? How can we be sure that we actually have it when we step onto the bandstand? And that's the job of the next component, generation. During generation, we're going to try and reproduce the feel that we just analysed with the help of a very simple metronome pulse. Step 1, take out your metronome and set it to the BPM of your analysis material. If you don't know the number, that's okay. You can set it by feel, or many metronomes nowadays have a tap tempo, where you can click or tap a button along with the music to set it. Step 2. If you have a programmable metronome, you can now mute or delete all the beats except the first beat in the measure. This single click is where we're going to do all of that work. If you don't have a programmable metronome, that's cool. Just keep dividing the number in half until you get the equivalent of one beat in a measure. For example, if my BPM is 160 and I'm in 4/4, half would be 80, giving me 2 half notes on beats 1 and 3 or 2 and 4, depending on how you count it. Half again would be 40, giving me the single pulse we're looking for. Step 3, this is the tricky part. I have to clap downbeats again. Wait, what? Hold on, trust the process. We aren't just clapping downbeats like we did during analysis. No, now the aim is to clap our downbeats in such a way that the single pulse of the metronome slots into what was an upbeat in the source material that we analysed. Essentially, we're doing what we did during analysis, but inverted. Recall that during analysis, we learned to internalize the feel of the offbeats, letter A, against the pulse of the track, letter B, by clapping and eventually playing only those offbeats. But in generation, by clapping the pulse only, we have to make the single metronome click feel like the offbeats in A. So A to B, and then this step is B to A. Why does this even work? An analogy to explain. So audio engineers, we have this trick where we take 2 signals, flip one upside down and add it to the second. If the 2 are identical, they cancel out completely. Total silence. But if there's any difference at all, well, that difference is all you hear.
Notice me when I walked in the room. Right away I knew I had you.
When you clap against that single pulse, what's left is the shape or feel of the upbeat itself. That's what we want. Now that I can do this, I have some tangible certainty that if I can get that single metronome pulse feeling like how it felt during the analysis stage, I've gotten a hold of it. Step 4. Alternate by clapping with the metronome pulse again for a bar or two, then slip back to making the metronome beat the offbeats again. Being able to slip back and forth really reinforces that you've gotten it right. Step 5, similar to step 8 of analysis, repeat steps 3 and 4 with your instrument. Keep it simple, like before. Step 6, begin to add more pulses or beats. We've only been hearing a single pulse per measure so far to keep it simple and to make the exercise less overwhelming. But we want to eventually be able to clap and play the offbeats all over the beats of a regular metronome if we want. I start usually by adding just one more beat at the halfway point. Usually beat 3 in a typical 4/4 example. Or just double the metronome BPM. Now we have 2 pulses to sync to, and so on. Step 7. Begin to iterate on your newfound feel by incorporating it into other parts of your practice regime. For example, if I've been practicing my articulation by accenting my offbeats and slowing my onbeats over some scales, then I'm going to try and perform those articulations whilst doing this generation step. So, with the analysis section and the generation section both combined, that's the pocket method. A brief word on the limitations of the pocket method. Firstly, it's not a silver bullet. It's a tool that can bring you deeper insight and confidence into 2 parts of reproducing swing: embodied awareness of rhythm and temporal placement of the offbeat. Remember that swing isn't just one thing. It's an ecosystem comprising many parts. The method only aims to get you to slot into and to contribute to the swing ecosystem. Second, it's not suitable for beginners with less than a year or 2 of experience. The methodology assumes that the player is comfortable with guiding and reflecting on their own practice, which is a whole skill set unto itself. So, what did you think? Are you intrigued by the pocket method? How does this differ from how you've used a metronome in the past? And does this give you any further ideas how you could incorporate this into your own practice? If you've made it to the end of this video, thank you so much. I had such awesome feedback and views on my previous video, it really got me super pumped to get this one out as quickly as possible. If you've dug this video, then maybe you want to hit the button? You know the one. Alright, beautiful people, thanks a million for watching. Go slowly and gently, practice well, and I'll see you next time.